Okay, believe it or not, this is take 3. So let's try. So this is in place of the meetings that I've been trying to get us to have so that we could talk about some of the things for class. Specifically this time I wanted to address 2 things, which is our Essay 3, as well as our Zoom chat feature, because that really is turning into the best way to get a hold of me. In terms of Essay 3, you'll have noticed, I hope, that I've extended the due date for the peer review. So please be sure to get your draft in as soon as possible so that you can complete a peer review for someone and someone can complete a peer review for you. I can't stress enough how important this really is to the whole writing process. Getting another set of eyes on your paper to give you some feedback, to notice some things that you might not notice yourself, or places that you might think are clear that other people don't think are clear. So it's really very important. Please do try to make sure to get in your papers, even if they're not complete, as soon as possible so that there is the time to actually get the peer review done. In terms of essay, there are a few points that I wanted to go over and highlight again. For this essay, I know we had the thesis assignment last week, and I was hoping for a little bit more in-depth feedback from some of you. But the point that I wanted to make there is to please go back and look at that discussion, see what sort of feedback you got, because I made sure to comment on some thesis statements there, and make sure that they're suitable for argumentative papers. So also the other thing that I wanted to mention, about Essay 3 is that you can use information from Essay 2, though it shouldn't be cut and pasted. But also you can use information from your annotated bibliography. That's actually what annotated bibliographies are for. It's to make sure that you have done your research and that you've kind of thought about how your research is going to be incorporated into your essay. And from there, then you can just kind of cut and paste from your annotated bibliography into places in your essay where it will actually work. The other thing that's great about annotated bibliographies is that they really help you to compile your works cited page, because you should already have all of your citations done. And so all you have to do is cut and paste. If you need help with your citations, you can send me an email. The other thing that you might want to consider doing is talking with the librarian. I'll send you guys the contact. I'll put it in the announcements. But she actually has a Canvas forum, like a discussion board, where you can post your questions and she'll get back to you as soon as she can. The next thing that I wanted to show you, and I'm going to turn my computer back on because the screen just shut down, though I know it's still recording, is that we're going to be in quarantine for the foreseeable future so far as the college can tell. And so that's actually what we're planning for. I know summer for sure is going to be online. We're still talking about fall. And so Zoom is going to be used increasingly. And so there's a feature on it that I find to be very useful, but it's only useful if you have the app downloaded. The app looks like this. There we go. So that's what you're looking for when you go online to your store. And then when you go inside the app, there's, let me see, there we go. There's 4 things on the bottom there: meet and chat, meetings, contacts, and settings. If you go to meet and chat, you can actually look me up, and this hooks up to my phone, as you can see. And you can reach me at pretty much any time with this, and I'll definitely always be there for you during office hours. So you can text me basically with this, and then if we need to, we can share screens. We can even jump into a virtual chat room if we need to. So that's what that looks like on the phone. There's a computer version of this as well. But it's that meet and chat feature that will be really, really valuable to you. The way that you look me up is through my email, so cfurtha@barstow.edu. Again, cfurtha@barstow.edu. And I've actually created a little class for us, so as soon as you find me, I'll load you into the class and we can actually have class chats as well. So if you have questions that other people might have, I'm trying to make sure you can see this, that other people might have too, then that's where it would go. And you can see that your embedded tutor, Noah, and I have kind of started the chat room already. So So that's another thing that I wanted to address with you. If you have any questions about how to get into the app, you can give Noah a call, or you can give me, send me an email or whatever. Just this will be a really valuable resource for you. And I also got from Taylor a few questions, and I'm going to address those now. So the first question is, what kinds of evidence will be most convincing for this essay? And the answer to that question is, in general, it really depends on the essay itself, how you're going about making the argument, and what the other content is. But you can never go wrong with quotations. So do be sure to include quotes and be sure to cite appropriately. Uh, if you're talking about like a health condition, of course, like medical studies are going to be appropriate to use. You can even use some research numbers there. It really depends on the way that your argument is going, what's going to be the most appropriate. In terms of evidence, the real concern is that you're using valid, reputable sources. So you want to make sure that your sources are primarily academic, so meaning that you've researched them, say through the library database, and that they've come from good, reputable, peer-reviewed sources. And when I say peer-reviewed, what I mean is that the articles were written by an expert in the field and reviewed by other experts in the field. So self-published things don't really count. Things that have been published by an institution like a university or a government entity are generally sound. Sometimes .orgs can be a little bit iffy depending on the agenda of the organization. So that's something to take into account there. But I mean, so the only real rule there is make sure that it works for your paper, make sure that it's reputable. So yeah, I think that's really the best answer that I can give. If you have a question about a specific source, you can always email it to me and I'll let you know. Is it okay to use first person experiences or second person experiences? First person, yes. It's always okay to refer to your own perspective using I in your papers. You want to stay away from second hand experience though, because second hand is you, and you don't know my experience. So you can, though, talk in third person as well. So about people, about him, her, they, that would work just fine. You don't want your essay to be primarily focused on your personal experience or people's experience in general, unless you're citing specific academic studies. But I mean, those are the general rules there. You is inappropriate to use in general because it's putting words into your reader's mouth. And a lot of times that can actually lose your reader's attention, or you can lose their faith in you as a researcher. So that's why you stay away from you. Is the page length an absolute requirement or more of a guide? So the page length is a requirement. You probably noticed in the syllabus, I don't know if you remember, but in order for this class to stay accredited, we have a 6,000 word requirement, which is essentially about 24 pages throughout the course of the semester. So yeah, so you need to plan on making sure that you meet that length requirement. Those are minimums. You can always go over, but those are definitely minimums. And the works cited page does not count towards the page total, unfortunately. Believe me, I wish these were different. It used to be 3,000, but everything changed a few years ago. So it's more now, and which means more grading for me. So obviously, it wasn't something that I said, yes, absolutely, I want to spend more of my life grading. But no, it's actually an absolute requirement. And then finally, the last question was, what's the most difficult part of the assignment, and what are some of the common mistakes? So I think there are a few difficult parts. This is the hardest paper of the semester for sure. One of the difficult parts is, for some people, meeting the length requirement. And I think also it's tied to another one that students have a lot of difficulty with, which is incorporating quotations. So this is something that we go over in live classes extensively, and I try to work into our classes online as well. But when you're incorporating quotes, there's a kind of a logic and a flow to it, and if you do it right, it actually takes up a lot of space. So the idea with your quotations or your evidence in general, quotations are a form of evidence, is that the way that you need to approach them is that you're establishing a point. So like you're arguing, let's go for really simple here, of course. So let's say dogs are better pets than cats, right? Let's say that that's my argument. And I say, as one of my main supporting points, that dogs offer you people loyalty. And let's say that I go through and I explain what loyalty means and how dogs offer it. Then the next thing that I would do is I would find some sort of text that shows this. So I could say something like, in where the red fern grows, Big Red and Little Ann were utterly loyal to the little boy. They defended him at their own peril, even getting sick doing so. And then I'd probably include a quote from the book, cite it properly, and then explain how this quote supports the point that I was making, and then make sure that everything is tied back to the original point. So, in other words, to kind of simplify that for you, when you're incorporating a source, you want to make sure that you're clearly stating the point that you're making, you're clearly stating your assertion. Then you want to introduce the book that you're, or the article that you're going to be citing. And when you introduce it, you want to make sure to include the author's name, the title of the work that you're citing, and then you want to be sure to include the information either quoted or paraphrased, then cite the information, whether it's quoted or paraphrased. And then after that, you need to tell me how this evidence that you just included supports the point that you were making. So you need to explain. And the explanations need to be at least as long as the evidence that you're presenting. Then, after that, you need to make sure that it is all tied into your overall thesis for the essay. So if you do all that, you're actually taking up quite a bit of room in your essay. So I hope that all makes sense. And if you have any questions about that, please do email me. And I apologize about the noise here, but we're all on quarantine and we're all here right now. So I did want to make sure to get this out to you guys, though. So if you have any questions about anything that I covered, please let me know. You can Zoom chat me. You can actually chat me at any time, and I'll answer as soon as I can. It actually goes directly to my phone, so I get pinged with it, and if I'm available, I'll answer. It's quicker to get to me that way than it is to get to me through email, because I don't know about you guys, but I get hundreds of emails a day, and so I have to filter through those for your emails. So the Zoom chat feature is actually the best way to go. So if you have any questions, like I said, please do email me. Please remember to participate in the peer review, because that is really important to this process. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Noah is available to you too. His hours, I am pretty sure, are still the same, but he is happy to look at your papers, to help you any place that you might be stuck, anything like that. So please do use him as a resource. He is available to you. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that the COVID hasn't made your life too stressful. I know some of you are considered essential workers, and thank you for that. And yeah, hopefully I'll hear from you guys soon.